folks, welcome back to Threes and Bubbles here. So, I got to thinking about this journey I'm going to take you on with me last night, and it dawned on me I left off a couple things that are germane to the introduction here. So I'm going to circle back. I can't believe I said that, but oh well. So I'm going to come back and pick a few of these little details up, and then we'll just take off next week. After our introduction from Booger, we had John McBroom come into the room. The reason I'm kind of hesitating here is I got to keep this thing straight. You had Booger give us our introduction, and Boomer comes in, and this is being told to you by Bobo. Okay, I think I got it. So Boomer comes in. Now that was Lieutenant John McBroom, and he was a first lieutenant as I was, and he was our class commander. Ken Anderson, our immediate boss in our section, was our class leader. So what they would do when I went through is they would take a class of 60 or 70, whatever it was, and they'd split it and into two sections. So Ken and I were in one section, and then John Alexander and Terry Phelps were the two captains in the other section. And so they probably had 30 and 31, obviously. So that's the way it was. Now, we would have early week and late week. So like, let's say our section was on early week, the other section then would be on late week. That meant they came to the flight line at 1 o'clock, where we would show up the flight line about 5, anywhere from 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning. So, and we oscillated. 1 week would be on early week, the next week would be on late week. So that's kind of the way that was structured. As I mentioned to you, we could wear our flight suits when we came to the flight line, obviously. And then for academics, we had to go home and change into our 1505s, our khaki uniforms. That could be a bit of a challenge because a lot of us lived off base, anywhere from 1 to 3 miles, 4 miles off base. That made it a little bit of a challenge, but you dealt with it. Okay, so that going back to April 24th, 1970, that was on a Friday. So after Boomer and Booger finished up, we began in-processing. Now, we met with personnel, filled out various personnel records, verified records. And then we met with finance, filled out emergency data cards, filled out insurance, stuff like that. All that mundane administrative stuff. Broke for lunch and then came back and were given our flight suits. And boy, that was a thrill to be handed those. We were really somebody now with those flight suits. And then we took those over to the parachute shop, and they sewed on our rank and our name tags and our various patches. Now, we did not have a class patch at that time. We were given some time to begin thinking about a design for our class patch, and I'll talk about that here coming up soon. Then that was kind of it the first day, and then about 4:30 we mustered over to the officers club, to the Auger Inn. And I'd been to the Auger Inn before. That was a bar downstairs in the basement of the officers club, and essentially it was a pilot's bar. And boy, was that thing hopping on Friday night. It was a lot of fun. And that pretty well tied up the events for that first day of UPT. Now, on Monday, I'm going to start talking to you about the beginning of the program into the T-41. And probably a good time here to tell you that when I went through, it was 52 weeks. The first 6 weeks were T-41 phase, which was a Cessna 172. And then 4.5 months were T-37, the Cessna T-37 Tweet. And then the last 6 months were the T-38. We would begin academics, I think probably the second week. That first week, we had a lot of things to do during the academic portion of the day when we weren't at the flight line. The most grueling was physical training. And I'll tell you about that again next week, probably on Monday. So that kind of gives you what the program was in a nutshell. And since I introduced the video yesterday and talked a little bit about Booger, the comments have been coming in. So I'm going to give you a bonus video on Booger here all by himself and add a few more details that I wasn't aware of. He deserves it. So with that being said, welcome, and we'll talk to you again soon. This is Bobo, Bass Gear Stop.